Welcome to Film and Page. I'm Dominic, and this is another episode of Road to Dune. Well, since the Dune movie has been pushed back to next year, Dune news has been pretty scarce. There hasn't been a lot to talk about. There was that big surge in hype after the trailer was released, and everyone was doing the reactions and stuff like that, and the momentum was really building. And then we got the news that the movie got pushed back, and even some of the merchandise that was supposed to be released also got pushed back as well. So there hasn't been lots to talk about, but there's been a few things that kind of leaked out here and there. So I wanted to wait till I had a few things I could talk about before making a video. So there's three things in this video I'm going to talk about. So the first article I'm going to go through, it just seems like a puff piece. Well, it is kind of a puff piece, but I thought there was an interesting nugget of information in it that I wanted to talk about. So this is the first thing I wanted to talk about, and this article is from radio.com. Here's the reason why Jason Momoa won't watch his new movie Dune with his kids. Jason Momoa suggests that his upcoming movie Dune may not be suitable for children. The actor, 41, told Men's Health that he does not intend to watch the film with his 11-year-old son, Nokoa Wolfie, due to the movie's graphic nature. "My son just loses it," the actor said. "Papa, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Son, I'm sitting right next to you. We're good. This was 2 years ago. Just watch the movie." The actor said he hopes to watch the movie with his entire family once his children are old enough to watch the violent scenes. The upcoming film is a change of pace from his usual tough guy and hypermasculine roles. Momoa is best known for his work on the hit HBO series Game of Thrones and DC Comics' Aquaman. So the interesting thing is the talk of he won't let his kids watch this movie due to the levels of violence in it. So it makes me wonder how violent this Dune movie is going to be. Is it going to be like as violent as, say, that last Wolverine movie called Logan or Deadpool or something like that? I'm curious about that because every parent's got like a different level of tolerance of what they'll let their kid watch on TV, so it's kind of hard to judge. But it's an interesting thing that got pointed out in this article. And it was kind of cute what his son said to him, thinking his dad was asking if his dad was okay when he got hurt on the screen. That was kind of funny. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to like how violent is it going to be? Is it going to be because it's kind of a double-edged sword. You don't want it so gory. Like I don't think it's going to be like gore fest or anything, but it's got to have at least some impactful violence in it, I think. Like more than what you would see, like a lot more than what you would see in a Star Wars movie, because a Star Wars movie is like basically a family film. They make those movies to hit as wide of an audience as possible. So that's why a lot of movies don't have, especially the big blockbuster ones, usually don't have high levels of violence in them. It's usually more like cartoonish violence. So I'm really curious as to how much violence is going to be in this movie. And I thought it was kind of funny when they talked about his hyper-masculine tough guy roles, that this is a change of pace. I really didn't get that impression when he's talking about like, let's fight like demons, and he's slaughtering all the Sardaukar in the trailer there. And he's portraying a character who is like one of the deadliest fighters in the known universe, and a great swords master, and like this ladies' man and all this in Duncan, Idaho. So it's still a pretty masculine role for him. It kind of makes me wonder if the people who write these articles know anything about Dune. Doesn't seem like they do. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. So here's the second thing. So there's this story going around the internet. I seen Secrets of Dune tweet about this, and Quinn's Ideas tweeted about this, and a few others, but I can't find an actual article about it. But apparently there was a preview screening of the Dune film to an audience somewhere. And apparently the audience reaction was really positive towards the movie, and they even gave it an ovation at the end. I don't know if it was a standing ovation or not, but so I don't know how much truth there is. It's kind of a rumor that's going around. But if it is true, then that's a very good sign for the film, that it had a positive reaction. And now I don't know what the makeup of the audience was, so that's like an unknown factor in there, but the thing about it is, a lot of people seem to have zero faith in this movie making any money or being a commercial success. There's a lot of people who are convinced that it's going to flop. Now, as for me, I want it to do well so we can get the second part. there's no doubt in my mind it's going to be an artistic success, but I don't know if it's going to be a financial one. Like, obviously I want it to be, but it's one of those things I just don't know either way. It could go either way. And what's interesting is I was listening to a podcast on Midnight's Edge, and it was a couple of weeks ago now. I was going to do a video on that, but I ended up deciding not to. So I'll just talk about it a little bit in this video. They had 3 guys on there. It was Andre, Tom Connors, and a third guy who was a filmmaker. And they had him on before, and he kind of knows a little bit about the filmmaking business and stuff. Well, the filmmaker guy and Andre were convinced that Denis Villeneuve's Dune is going to be a great movie, but it's not going to do well financially. It's not going to connect with audiences. And they kind of talk about because of what kind of filmmaker Denis Villeneuve is, and he hasn't had really a big smash hit yet. Not to the level of like with the budget that Dune has and stuff like that. Now, the interesting part was Tom Connors kind of gave them both a bit of pushback and said, hey, you know what? I think you guys are underestimating the film because if you look at the numbers that the trailer did compared to the numbers that the Batman trailer did, the Dune trailer actually surpassed the numbers of views and likes that the Batman trailer did in a much shorter period of time, which is an interesting point. It shows that there is a big fandom out there for Dune, and Dune has some momentum going for it, and that really gives me hope that the movie is going to be a financial success, because Batman is, you know, almost like guaranteed gold with the audience. Like, there's been that many Batman movies out there that have made lots of money, and he's a very recognizable character, and it's a recognizable brand, superhero and stuff like that. And Batman is actually one of my favorite superheroes, but I'm not excited for another Batman movie because we've had so many over the years. But I am really excited about a Dune movie because we've only had one big budget Dune movie in the theater, and that was way back in '84. So it's interesting that little nugget of information there, that it did better than the Batman trailer. So how well it does, who knows? Now, my only concern is we don't get both parts of the story. Now, I did hear a rumor that Denis Villeneuve might actually have it somehow in his contract that no matter what, he gets to make both parts of this film, despite how the first one does. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. That would be cool if that was the actual thing. Because I'm just happy to get one Dune film. Anything after that would be gravy. Like if we get the Sisterhood TV show and stuff like that, or they make Children of Dune and Dune Messiah into a movie, that'd be pretty cool too. But just one film would be an awesome thing for me, because I've been waiting for it for a long time. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about is the upcoming Dune RPG game, Dune Adventures in the Imperium. So they released some preview artwork for this upcoming game. So this is from modiphius. So modiphius, award-winning 2D20 system, will provide the core rules. The system was previously used for Star Trek Adventures, John Carter of Mars, Conan, and the recently announced Dishonored role-playing game. So I don't know how the 2D20 system works. Currently, I'm trying to figure out how to play the Expanse role-playing game. I bought that one a little while ago, and that one uses the Age system, gaming system, where it's like a 3D6 gaming system. And so I've got it figured out to the point where I can actually run a mission now, but I don't have a lot of experience playing tabletop role-playing games, but I wanted to get some before the Dune one comes out. And I've never GM'd before, just played, but I've never actually ran a game either, so that'll be interesting. So let's take a look at some of the artwork that was released for this game. So right away you can tell, this was the first image they released. Right away you can tell that the visuals are all going to be lifted from the movie. So everything's it's going to have that the look of the movie to it. You can see from the sandworm, the ornithopter, and all that. And the other thing is they said it's going to be based on Frank Herbert's original books, but also Brian Herbert and Kevin D. Anderson stuff. It's going to take stuff from that as well, and as well as the new film. So that's going to be, I'm going to be curious how they mix all that in together. But I think the whole world of Dune would really make for an awesome role-playing game. And you see the huge worm there where the mouth looks like an eye. That's a cool image. And the ornithopter, they're trying to escape it. take off an ornithopter there, and just really gorgeous artwork. I know some of these role-playing game books just have fantastic, really nice artwork in them. I know the Expanse one just is a gorgeous looking book, and it looks like this one's going to be no different and probably even nicer. So this is the second piece of artwork that was released, preview artwork, and it is a Bene Gesserit giving one of the students the pain box test there. You can see she has her hand inside the box. The Bene Gesserit there is holding the Gom Jabbar at her neck, and you have some other Bene Gesserit there in the background watching, and it just looks like a gorgeous piece of artwork, and I can't wait to get this one. This is going to be a nice book. Really cool image there. And then let's have a look at the last one. So I'm assuming this is the cover. This is what the cover is going to be like. Dune Adventures in the Imperium, the role-playing game. So you can see it looks like it's almost like a globe of Arrakis there in the foreground with some swords sticking out of it. And it's got like a hollow net, almost like a mapping system or grid system around it. So that's kind of a cool image. And then you have a figure that looks like Paul Atreides standing in the center there. And then you have a Bene Gesserit looking character on the side. And then another like Atreides officer on the other one, on the other side of him there, and then there's some like mist in the foreground and stuff like that. So it's an interesting image. But what I thought was kind of cool that they did with the cover here is if you look at the background, you can see it almost looks like in the background a window that is like a stained glass window, and it has the image of a sandworm on it. But when you look at it, the mouth of the sandworm is directly behind Paul Atreides' head, and so it looks like he has a halo. So it gives the whole image this like religious feel to it, like it has this religious symbolism kind of into it, like he's almost like a back, like pushing forward the idea that he's a messianic figure. He's like a religious figure because of the, you know, the religious look of it with the stained glass window, like something you'd see in a church, with the worm's mouth behind him, with the worm's teeth like almost radiating off of his head. Like they look like teeth, but they could also be like rays of a sun, and it's a halo in the back of him. So I thought that was kind of neat thing they put in the cover there. So we're not getting a film, but until next year, but we are getting a lot of Dune merchandise. Got the RPG role-playing game coming out. We got the graphic novel that came out today, and tomorrow we have the next issue coming out for the Boom comic series. And then we just had a new novel come out from Brian Herbert and Kevin G. Anderson. They'll be releasing another one next year. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. And hopefully we get some more news about the Sisterhood of Dune, what's happening with that project, because there hasn't been really anything about that one either. So some cool stuff coming down the road. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will see you at the next one. I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you all in helping this channel grow. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded.